From the W. Page Pitt School of Journalism and Mass Communications, your home for complete Marshall University news. You're watching MU Report.
Good afternoon. Thanks for joining us for this fifth edition of MU Report 2019. I'm Fareed.
And I'm Ando. We are students-produced newscast of the W. Page Pitt School of Journalism and Mass Communication at Marshall University. We're at the broadcast not only on West Virginia Public Broadcasting, but also on YouTube. Now, on to our top story.
Late fall brings Marshall students a stress that's unique to college for graduates. It's worry about a job. For all it's concerned about final exams, and as Aaron Dickens' report for students returning in the spring, it's registration, the great race to get that all-important class schedule set.
November means more than a holiday break at Marshall. It means racing to get classes for spring while everyone else is doing the same thing. Talk about pressure. Spring registration often means hovering over a class schedule on the laptop, counting down to midnight, stressed because the class has 20 spots and it feels like 100 people want them.
It can get pretty stressful, definitely. It gets more stressful as you kind of progress through your academic career, but as you start getting more into your major and have to look for those more specific classes, watching them close up and you're not in them, that can be an experience.
Students say they often learn the hard way to have a backup, and the likely event a class closes within minutes of opening. But it's always a gamble to take on an extra semester.
Use the course schedule generator. That thing is phenomenal. But then also have two or even a third schedule just in case you don't get the classes that you would like to.
Using academic planners, talking to your advisor, or having alternate classes to take can all help with the stress of registration.
If there are classes that you absolutely have to graduate on time, definitely talk to your advisor and look into getting the overload.
As students pack their bags for the night of registration, some students say being mentally and physically ready for it is key.
Being ready to stay up late always helps. Getting some snacks, some friends, some music, and just not falling asleep beforehand will definitely help you. Other than that, if you don't get them, you're screwed.
And there's one more very important matter, getting rid of any hold on your schedule. A hold does just what the word says. It keeps you from registering until you deal with it. Aaron Dickens, MU Report.
The registrar says students should always check degree works and discuss schedules with their advisors before they sign up.
As if classes and work aren't enough of a schedule, many at Marshall also suffer from seasonal affective disorder. It means the mood is disturbed by the change in the seasons and made worse by the decrease in the daylight that happens in late fall and winter. And as Tiara reports, the disorder doesn't discriminate.
When leaves begin to fall and days become shorter, college students are at risk for changes in their moods, eating habits, and even lack the motivation to go to class. Professionals say these are some of the symptoms of seasonal affective disorder.
Seasonal affective disorder is a type of depression. So you have all the same symptoms of major depression, but it typically is worse in one season. And for a diagnosis, that would have to be for 2 or more years.
Students say they have mixed feelings about whether this actually exists.
I think there's a lot of people who think it's just a made-up illness. They just really don't like the cold, so they like to just stay in their bed, but it really is a thing. Like, one thing leads to another, and then it can lead to depression and several other things.
Professionals say that this isn't bound to just one season, which is a common misconception about it.
It's most common during fall and winter when it gets colder, it's darker outside, but there are people that have seasonal affective disorder in the spring and summer as well.
There are resources on campus for students who feel as though they suffer from this disorder.
A lot of times people think, well, I'm not really suffering from mental health, or I don't really have this big diagnosis, but any symptom that interferes with a person's daily functioning is something that needs to be discussed and a professional to be sought out for.
Counselors say going to the recreational center and working out, calling a friend on the phone and having a long conversation, or finding a fun activity to do on campus are all ways for someone who suffers from seasonal affective disorder to find more about what may trigger their symptoms and generate positive habits for the future. Tiara Brown, MU Report.
The Katelyn Center is open to all students from Monday through Friday from 8 to 6 p.m. If your mood is a little blue and you're not sure why, it could be sad. And counselors say it's important to discuss it with the pros to keep it from hurting you and your studies.
As mentioned, fall break is fast approaching, but not everyone can easily head back home for the holidays, especially those for whom distance is measured in thousands of miles. For them, the only option is to stay here or visit a friend close by.
It's almost Thanksgiving break, which is a holiday that revolves around family. But for some students, going home is not an option.
That's the biggest thing. I really don't celebrate it as much then because I have friends here but no family here. And most of my friends, they end up going back home. I live 5 hours away in Virginia, so it's not an option that many times to go home. So it's hard.
I will definitely say I want to go back at the Thanksgiving day. This is really important day to me, family.
I think it's pretty important. I think it's a hard time whenever people can't be with their families, just because culturally Thanksgiving is supposed to be a time of Thanksgiving and also sort of a time with family, and so that makes it hard to take that aspect out of it.
Marshall University holds Thanksgiving dinner for everyone, while some students have suggestions what to do when you can't go back home.
Because of today's technology, we can still meet your family with Skype. I will say this. Maybe.
Might help a little, but it doesn't replace that family time that you'd usually get.
I have some friends in an organization that has something every year where students can come and have Thanksgiving with them, and they sort of make traditional meals for that time. And then there's also a lot of families that will try to take students in, oh, you can't go home for Thanksgiving, come home with me for the weekend.
Some students say that they don't want to go back home anyway, but for the ones stuck on campus for Thanksgiving, university is their home and friends are their family.
And for students graduating in December, some big life decisions are on the horizon. Sebastian Morris has this story where a professor at Marshall gives that group some final parting advice.
A 2019 study found that 53% of college graduates are unemployed as long as 6 months after graduation or working in a job that doesn't require a bachelor's degree. Professors at Marshall say it's easy to avoid becoming part of this statistic.
Regardless of what major you have a lot of different opportunities. They may not be the job that you thought that you would get, but you're able to do a lot of things that you really enjoy. And so think broadly, maybe apply for some jobs that seem a little out of your comfort zone, but seem like good opportunities. Keep your options open.
It's rainy and overcast today, but Marshall professors say if you take their advice, the rest of your future won't be that way.
Look at yourself and look at your possible employers and say, what am I worth to them and how can I show them that?
I think the main thing I would have told myself is don't go straight into law school. Take some time off, do something else. Maybe what I should have done right out of college was gone into the Army. I ended up doing that later. I went to law school and I hated it. I was just sick and tired of school.
Experts say going to grad school immediately following undergrad is advised because you're already in student mode and have a higher chance of succeeding than non-traditional students. Sebastian Morris, MU Report.
Marshall offers students a great deal of supplemental help to market themselves as valuable. But as Sarah Rowe reports, students have to be willing to take extra steps needed during their college experience if they even hope to break into their field and career.
Having a Marshall degree can take you places, but going to college is more popular now than ever before, which makes getting that desired job after graduation all the more difficult. The Office of Career Education at the university offers guidance to students and graduates on the opportunities that come with having a degree.
So we get to see firsthand what our Marshall students are getting and opportunities in employment. So they get out there and get those internships, and those are excellent ways to lead to full-time jobs. So, Marshall does a lot to help their students get employed.
I think a lot of it falls into there's some responsibility on the student too, because even with a marketable degree, if someone's not marketing themselves well, or if they have a bad resume, if they've not done the things they should do, that can fall back and that can hold them back.
For many students, college is a necessary step towards getting the job they want. Some form of degree is necessary for almost every desired career path, and Marshall University offers students the skills and training to market themselves as employable after graduation.
Well, I want to be a lawyer, so there wasn't really any other option to be a lawyer than to go to college.
And my mom's a teacher, so there wasn't an option to not go either. So it's kind of like, it was the next step.
I think also just taking an inventory of your skills, because sometimes students, I think, rely too heavily on a degree, and a degree is very important. I mean, I work in higher ed. Degrees are very necessary, but degrees are one piece of the puzzle. There are other pieces.
Whatever career path students choose to pursue after graduation, Marshall University offers students the opportunities to achieve that dream job, if they're willing to put in the work. Sarah Rowe, MU Report.
Playing or performing on the John C. Edwards Stadium field is an experience many say is unforgettable. They also say they miss it when they leave. Now, as Mackenzie Watson reports, Marshall is letting some special people appreciate that experience long before they ever go to school here.
Most Saturdays, Herd fans file into the stadium to watch their favorite college team play. But while the Herd was away traveling for a football game, the players at the Joan C. Edwards Field looked a little different, changing from this to this. This is the Turf Bowl, hosted every year at Marshall University for Little League championships.
The end of the year, kind of the celebration, the reward for the kids to play our championship here at Marshall, and they get to play where they see the big guys playing every week, and it's been done like that since the old Fairfield Stadium days. We've got coaches in our league that remember playing as a kid at Fairfield Stadium, so they look forward to it all year round.
The Little League teams from around the tri-state work hard preparing for the playoff game at the Joan at the end of the season, teaching them to not only build team building skills, but letting them have an unforgettable experience.
Turf Bowl, it's important to all these boys, all the leagues. I mean, I got to play here when I was young, so I remember it like it was yesterday. All the teams work hard, and they bust their butt all season, so it's a pretty good reward for them to get to play on the field.
While the Turf Bowl is a rewarding experience for the boys and girls on the field, many parents, coaches, and staff members find themselves reminiscing on when they themselves played and performed on the stadium field.
Some of the adults really look forward to it too. I've heard it several times. Hey, I can remember when I was a kid, you know, how fun it was to run down the field at Fairfield Stadium, and even some of them at Marshall Stadium, the Joan C. Edwards.
Making memories that'll last a lifetime for these players that we may see again on the Joan field. Mackenzie Watson, MU Report.
Sometimes students who are covered up by classwork and jobs can neglect their health, which is why Taylor Huddleston has this story on Marshall's annual health fair.
Flu season is slowly approaching Marshall University's campus. The university and Marshall Health are attempting to promote a healthy environment for everyone by holding its annual health and wellness fair.
To bring awareness to health and wellness in the community area here in Huntington. We have a mixture of Marshall Health vendors. We have a mixture of community members that are here just to make the community as a whole aware of general wellness.
Different screenings such as health, hearing, blood pressure, flu shots, hand washing education, and mammograms were just some of the activities that were provided free of charge. October is known for National Breast Cancer Awareness Month.
October is a month that highlights breast cancer awareness. We put the emphasis on screening. At the Edwards Comprehensive Cancer Center, we also honor our survivors.
By attending the fair, employees and students were able to learn more about on and off-campus connections regarding their health and other ongoing issues.
Marshall as a whole cares about, our faculty, our staff, our students, and a community as a whole.
The Health and Wellness Fair helps provide Marshall students, faculty, and staff with opportunities for free screenings from a variety of regional healthcare providers. Over 30 vendors were present at the 2019 Health Fair with hundreds of Marshall employees in attendance. Taylor Huddleston, MU Report.
MU Report is a television lab, and we're glad you're watching. You can always catch this newscast on YouTube. I'm Fareed Tariq.
And I'm Ando. Have a great day.